Brodes Media.
It was a rough 48 hours for the 76ers. My God. And it really is all about what transpired in Chicago. Because if you don't blow that massive lead where you can't get a bucket for what felt like 8 hours, and Joel Embiid is taking one-footed jump shots fading away, and ISO ball made me puke, and it was just egregious. And if that didn't happen, and you held on to win, even if Chicago made a little push here and a little push there, equivalent to what the Sixers did against the Cavs. They made a little push here, a little push there, but ultimately, the Cavs were in control. It wouldn't feel this nasty if they got out of that with a 1-1 record, winning in Chicago with a nice win, heading into that matchup. You guys had the same record. Would have been nice. And then you chalk up the second half of a back-to-back with, what are you going to do? No Embiid, no McCain, travel, getting in at a crazy time, legs are hurting, dogs are barking. It was a scheduled loss. But now it's just, yeah. But here's the truth. This all goes back to what's the expectation heading into the year? And it's a weird transition for us as a fan base. It was always about championships and nothing else matters. Now, it's about watching the journey. And there's going to be uncomfortable stretches and bad games. And I'm curious how we are going to react on a day-by-day basis knowing that's the case. Because it's easy when they're 5-1 and they're beating up on teams. And even it's easy when they face Boston on Halloween at home and they scrap and they give you something entertaining and they had chances to win it at the end. And even if they fall, you can at least appreciate their effort. And, you know, it's easy to get excited about VJ when he's balling out. What happens when he starts to hit a wall? And truth be told, he may have already kind of hit that wall. And yes, that opens up a whole new can of worms because Nick Nurse is getting crucified for his minutes and his rotations and his moves throughout the game. First off, you can't get a field goal in a billion years. I got to look at the coach and go, what are you doing? Are we asking Joel Embiid to be the savior? I thought we were done with that. I actually thought Embiid played a nice game before that fourth quarter. It was in rhythm with the offense. Then all of a sudden we play that stupid ball late. Dumb, bad, horrible, awful, tragic. That's on you, Nick. And then I'm watching Oubre and VJ and Maxey log 8 million minutes when they were getting blown out against Cleveland. So many layers to go with this. So before I even saw Nick Nurse's comments post-game, and he kind of said, you know, we're trying to, change maybe some of the problems with last year's team, and we're trying to build an identity here, and it all reflects back to how Tyrese Maxey said he wanted a standard, and he doesn't care if they're up 20, down 20, doesn't matter who's in the lineup that day. You know what you're getting with 76ers basketball. So Nick Nurse, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said something along those lines, and that was sort of my instant reaction, is how do you juggle this if you're Nick Nurse? Because if Maxey wants to take the throne and be the franchise leader, and he wants this energy to be soaked into the walls and installed into the 76ers locker room, then don't you actually need to act accordingly and don't give up? If you're getting blown out, I don't care. You were blowing out who? Oh, that's right, the Bulls a day before, and you lost. You had an incredible fight back against the Celtics. Even though you fell, there's something about that pressure you put on teams, even if you're down big. And they actually made it pretty close there at halftime until the Cavs, the third quarter, it made me sick. But my point is there something to the long-term gain with the identity of Sixers basketball if you're down big, but Maxi's still out there in the fourth, and it doesn't matter if he plays 38 minutes because you're creating something. And it's fair to wonder, because if you give up and you wave the white flag, are you creating a culture that is okay with giving up? But at the same time, VJ Edgecombe, he said something to the media a couple days back. I heard Kyle Neubeck say this, that, man, it's a grind with this schedule. Dude, there's 82 of these bitches. There's 82 of these motherfuckers. What are you, at 10? So VJ Edgecombe's already starting to feel it. Don't you need to find a way to balance that? And you could say he's 20 and Maxi's 24 and blah, 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 and they're young and they should be able to move. Yeah, it's a grown man's league. Every night you're going up against 6'8" grown men. There's just natural wear and tear. And you're going to feel it if you're playing that much. So how do you balance that with the attitude that you want to play with? And that's on Nick Nurse. And clearly, he's miscalculating this a bit. And is Paul George's injury playing a role with what he has to do with Oubre? And is his rotations weird? Because some nights he has Embiid, some nights he doesn't. The Barlow injury's out of whack. Yeah, I'm not telling you it's easy. It's discombobulated. But I think we need to find a happy medium. Because I'm all on board with trying to change the narrative and change really, like, league-wide, the perception of how the 76ers play. There's no off nights. You see the Sixers, you're getting it. You're getting snarl. And if they're down 30, you're getting snarl. And they're going to fight. And they're going to throw punches. And they're going to try and do everything to muck the game up to get back into the action. I admire that. And I love the fact that Maxey wants to take that with the full head of steam. But that's where Nick Nurse comes in and goes, we appreciate that. Got to take it down a notch. And instead, he's almost pushing him to the brink. And it kind of reminds me of when Doc Rivers was here. And I know everybody hates him. But one of the things he stated about Max is this guy is so obsessed. I have to yank him off the floor during practices, during open gyms. It's not even a practice, not even a scheduled practice for us. This guy's just out there wired to get better and better and better. You got to get some shots. No, you don't. You don't have to get some shots. You just played 3 games in 4 nights. Your body's hurt. Take a day of rest. It's going to help. So it's not an easy equation, and it's a good problem to have. That this is what Maxey wants. I didn't see them blowing that lead to Chicago coming. And the reason why I bring that up is Spike does a great job with his Rights to Ricky Sanchez pod and very active with Sixer stuff during games. And I like picking his basketball brain, obviously a sharp basketball mind. And he kept pointing out, and I don't know if it's just a bit, or I don't know if it's just because he's sort of scarred as a Sixers fan, but during the game he goes, this is going to go bad. I'm just waiting for something to go wrong. I'm just waiting for this to get nasty. I'm watching and I know that the turning point is going to happen and I'm going to get upset. And I didn't feel that way at all. And I even said this statement to myself when I looked in the mirror afterwards. I thought they were better than this. I thought they were farther along than this. But at the same time, I go, well, why? If you're going to praise a youth movement, bro, shouldn't this be part of that? And the answer is yes. But with Maxey and how much he's developed over the years, I thought he would stop that from happening. And I'm not saying he's wrong to not, and I'm not saying these type of losses don't happen. They do. They do. If we're going to praise them being down in the fourth quarter and them winning multiple games when they're down and having late surges, that means the other teams in the league are blowing leads all the time. You know what I mean? So it happens, but I didn't think it was going to happen on that particular night. I didn't feel it in my bone marrow. So that's why it was a bit shocking to me. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. And with that, it brings up the Joel Embiid thing. I don't know, man. I don't know. He's obviously very, 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 very limited on the defensive side of the floor. He does things. See, the way I kind of interpret this, especially that first game of the back-to-back, sometimes he does things that just annoy me. From a basketball player perspective who's been in the league for as long as he has, there's a difference between stupidity and dumb basketball, and then he's giving you everything he has. And I'm a big defender of him, and I say he's clearly limited. He's giving you what Embiid is. Don't get mad at him that he needed 97 surgeries and 7 different orbital bone surgeries and thumb surgeries, and this is what the man has left. But then he just makes bone-headed decisions and stupid passes, and they think they're up big so they can fuck around, and then here comes a run, and Chicago and the Bulls fight back, and he's just making stupid decisions. And, you know, there's a difference between, hey, he can't move defensively, and what the hell was that pass when you're trying to throw it over your head backwards, backflip between the legs, alley-oop to yourself? And obviously I'm taking it to an obnoxious level, but man. So I try to digest the difference between the two. That's just idiotic and dumb, and you should be so far past that in your journey of professional hoops. That is a bad decision. And guys are going to make mistakes, but there's a difference between making a mistake and having a turnover, and then some of the things he does. But at the same time, then I watch him and I go, the guy can't move. What do you want him to do? And then I hear fans say, get rid of him. I don't want him anymore. Well, if you know he can't move, and if you know he's not worth it, and if you know you don't want him, why would anybody give up anything for him with money attached to him the way that it is? He's here. It's finding out how to make this work, and I don't know. Sometimes it's aggravating, and sometimes I think he looks okay. And I honestly feel what transpired in that fourth quarter where they couldn't get a damn field goal is more on the schematic side of things and what they were trying to do more than it is Embiid's a bum. But then again, Embiid should realize that this isn't going to work. I can't be playing hero ball and jab stepping and, you know, like that. I'm not that right now. I'm not that. What we were doing was working. But then, of course, what happens in the first quarter compared to what happens in the fourth quarter, it's a different game. Guys don't play defense. You could see that. Trust me, man. The Sixers, when they don't want to play defense, yikes. Yikes.